airbag fault. Let's have a look at that one. That's an interesting one. Front passenger head airbag igniter. Resistance too high. Front passenger head airbag igniter. Must be up there. Ooh, we'll have to do a little bit of investigation on that one then, won't we? Guys, we've got a major issue with this Audi A4.
Guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to episode 8 on the Audi A4 project. I've found sweet and sour sauce, I've found fluff, I've found poo, I've found everything from Mickey Mouse. Now, it must have been living in here for a while, and it's chewed, obviously, through some of the wiring, as you've seen in the last episode, so this is not great news. In the boot, we found poo or droppings, which I believe, because they look quite wet, to be quite recent, so I've had to put some mouse traps down in the car to try and see if we can catch Mickey the Mouse.
You know when the calling's calling.
So now that we've started stripping out the back of this section here, I can now pretty much get into where the wires are, and they have been bitten to shreds. So let's get this last little bit. There's two pieces, one part that sits along here of the trim, another part of the trim which is just here, and it's ready to come out almost. I just need to somehow pop it out. More than likely it'll come from right here. But I would have thought there would have been another screw somewhere. It might just need
Calling's calling more, and it's calling, and it keeps on calling, till it's calling. You know when the calling's calling more. Calling's calling. You know when the calling's calling more.
So now that we pull that panel down, look at the wires. So you can see there, green wire totally cut off, blue wire got a couple of snips inside there. So what we'll do, we'll get that little yellow clip off, hopefully the airbags don't go off, and then we can get that re-terminated.
So before disconnecting the airbag wire, you need to disconnect your battery, and generally you leave it for up to 20 to 25 minutes just in case there's any residual energy sort of sat inside the cable. So I read that online, hopefully it's right, but yeah, it worked for me, and after that I could disconnect the battery terminal and then the airbag plug. Now, as you can see there, the green wire is being cut to bits, and I just need to take all of this black wrapping off here just to inspect the rest of the cables. But from what I can see, the blue wire and the green wire have both been bitten to shreds. So all I'm doing in this scenario is just cutting down these wires, because the green's been chomped to bits and the blue's got a little bit of chomp on there as well off Mickey the Mouse. So just going to cut them down to about, well, as far as the cable can go really. You've got to test to see if you can plug it in. Now, interestingly enough, when I first started this, I had passenger airbag head resistance high because the cables were touching something, but as you say, one of the cables was damaged. And then as I went to plug this in, I got a resistance low because I didn't push the orange clip in far enough. So now all I'm doing is just soldering the wires together. Now what I like to do is get a good couple of blobs of solder on there, and then simply all you need to do is just continue that all the way along where that area is. Now what I do is to twist both wires together and then solder. Now don't get me wrong, I would normally prefer doing a crimp, but sometimes I believe that doing car electronic wires, you're best off soldering them together. I don't know why, I think it's best practice for cars, and I'd rather do that than put a Wago clip or something inside here for an airbag. First one's done now, blue. Going to the green one next. And then, yeah, I don't know if you can get this wiring loom. I need to find out, but for now, at least we know where the problem is. At least we know we can hopefully fix it. So, just put the solder on here, just to hold these two together. Going to solder that section as well, and then going to drop these heat shrinks down, and then that'll cover the wires, and that's a pretty good strong termination. So
A lot of the lads keep saying to me, John, why don't you just crimp it? Why don't you just put a set of crimps on and be done with it? But to be honest with you lads, I don't like doing that. I like to get a good quality solder on there. And majority of the time, you guys know, it's a pain in the ass to solder. So I'm just going to drop a couple of beads on first, just to hold the wire in place. Now, if you're looking for solder perfection, you're watching the wrong place. But the more I do solder, the more I learn. You guys know what I'm like. I'm a learner. Like a learner driver. Although, you got to remember, I do work in IT. There's been plenty of times between me and you where, and I don't know why I'm standing like this, but it's the only way I can seem to get a good quality solder. But when you work in IT and tech and everything, you've got to remember, those techies have had a lot of motherboard experience. So, as much as this is absolutely painstakingly hurting my back, I thought I'd just do this video in real time for anyone watching. So I've got a couple of blobs on there now. So now I need something to hold this wiring loom over here. But yeah, essentially just heating it up, heating all of that up, just getting it on there, and just covering the full wire. A good, solid, strong connection. So people know you've done a good job when you solder, and also when you use a nice bit of heat shrink after. That's how people know, ooh, bet myself, that people have done a decent quality job. And if this relieves the airbag light, then we know we've done our job. I normally use a heat gun for this, but I just thought the wire's so brittle, so small. And there she is. That is the cable repair. So let that cool down and then we'll get it plugged in and see if the airbags blow up. So I don't actually think that is a bad repair. 2 soldered wires back in. We'll get that plugged in and then we're ready to test. And the testing part is the most nerve-wracking bit. Right, that's that bit back in, and then that's that bit back up there, and then there's that bit back. If you watched the latest Matt Armstrong video before, it went boom. So, are we ready? I'm not ready for this, guys. Please do not blow. We're going for it. Is she blue yet? Nope. We still have got an airbag light on though. Do we need to clear the codes? Let's try clearing the codes. Right, codes cleared. Wish me luck. Passenger airbag. Oh yeah, turn that one off under there just in case it was going to cause a problem. No way. Another light off the dash. Come on. Right, that means we've only got the steering angle sensor light on. And you guys know why we've got that on, because the tracking is just way out at the minute. So it's obviously going to stay on until the tracking's on. Then I can do that all the way to the right, all the way to the left scenario. And that will be a clear dash. Guys, I am over the moon with this. We are so close to getting this Audi A4 MOT'd and back on the road. I'm just gassed. This has been another brilliant build or project, and honestly all I can say is a big thanks to all the new and old subscribers who've been following me along on this journey. But this Audi A4 is soon going to be my daily driver. I can finally get rid of that 2011 Passat that I've got, albeit I've got nothing against VW Passats because that has been the best car that I've ever drove. But I'm sat in here now and I've just remembered there's mouse droppings. So we need to check the mouse traps, and then we need to give this car a really good clean, ready for its MOT. And you might think, John, they don't check MOTs for cleanliness. No, they don't. But what I don't want to be doing is sat in a car where a little Mickey Mouse has been running around and potentially poo being ran all over. I'm not having it. It's not hygienic. We've got to get this thing cleaned. And then there's a couple of minor tweaks that I need to do. So I'm still waiting for the wheel arch lining for the driver side. I've got the passenger wheel arch lining in, but it needs tidying up. And I have noticed I've got a little bit of a coolant leak at the front of the car, so I've got to get that checked out first. But this has been my first Audi, or first crash damaged car rebuild, and do you know what? I've thoroughly enjoyed it, and I can't wait to get the next one on the channel.